Namaste, Jai Hind, and welcome to this edition of Take 3. It's the second time we are crossing paths this week. It's the festive weekend, so perhaps it's a Take 3 bonanza. Thank you for all the love that you've poured to all of us here, Zaka, Rahul and me, and to Take 3. And there has been a lot of response even to our Dussehra special, which was all around the RSS. But this one, we have RSS, but it's not about the RSS.
He certainly doesn't seem like he's completed 100 years.
100 years. He's halfway there, though. He's halfway there. So, but let's focus
Don't
on...
Don't be so smug. You guys are also going to get there
soon enough. Yeah.
We'll get there, but you're ahead of us. Okay, let's focus on the important aspect in Tamil Nadu. What happened in Karur, a tragedy, a rising political and also Tamil superstar, Ilayya Dalapati, who'd been giving these cues of he's going to make the political foray. In the recent past, he's one of the many. So there was Rajnikant who went right up to the doorstep and backed off with Makkal Nidhi Mandram. And then, that was Kamal Hassan. And then he also had his own, this one, that became a very organized force. He worked diligently on it and then backed off. So this is the third one. So other than DMK, that is Vijay who we lost recently, there hasn't been any big superstar after MGR and Jayalalitha. Everybody thought Vijay is going to get that momentum, and somehow he was ticking boxes, especially with the Stalin jibe, Uncle Stalin jibe, my dear uncle. That one, and I think there was a... What happens now, and how do we see Tamil Nadu politics, and who would you want to point fingers at for what happened in Karur? That should not happen anywhere.
So see, I think Karur is definitely a black mark on Vijay's track record, because he was on the ascendant, right? He was speaking well. There were these talking points. He was attacking both BJP and DMK. And he had sort of cleverly made the contest between TVK versus DMK. So he's basically saying all the other parties don't matter. ADMK does not matter. BJP does not matter. All the other guys are just, bit players. The main contest is between TVK and DMK. And to a great extent, he had managed to seed that, that thought, that whole framing of the contest in the minds of the Tamil voter. Karur is definitely a setback to it, no doubt about it, because at the end of the day, it was his rally. It was not Stalin's rally or EPS's rally. And, just a few days before that, Mr. EPS had a rally there, although he didn't get the same kind of crowds. But the problem is that, it's a frenzy, right? He's a movie star. A lot of people who came there and waited 6 hours to see him are also his fans. Right? They've come there to get a glimpse of the guy. They're not necessarily there to pay attention to, what policy changes he's going to make or what his political attacks are on the DMK. Those are for the political enthusiasts. But the arm janta that's turned up and always turns up at his road shows and his rallies are basically his fans. They want to take a picture. It's like a memory thing, right? It's for posterity. It's to show your grandkids. I was at Vijay's rally in Karur in 2025. Unfortunately, I don't think his fledgling party organization has any kind of, cadres who are capable of crowd management, who are able to, rein in the distance between the crowds and the bus. So a lot of the blame he will have to take and his people will have to take. But here's the interesting thing. I was speaking to our colleague Purnima, who had gone there, and she was there for a whole week. And she said, amazingly, the people who are affected, the people who lost their dear ones, the people whose folks some of them are injured and being treated in hospital, they're actually not that much angry with Vijay. They're much more angry with the DMK and the state establishment and the police, saying that what were they doing? Why didn't they know that, if instead of 10,000, 20,000, 30,000 are coming? Why did they give this real narrow gully for him to, address the people? So she said there was much more anger amongst the people who she spoke to there on the state and the establishment, much more than on Vijay. So no one quite really knows how this particular episode will play out, but I think it's a marker for sure.
See, the other thing is that Vijay himself has been very careful. One, there was initial criticism that he didn't go there. But he's not gone there to try and stoke flames and create something more. What he has come and said, that was a very emotional, heartfelt. It was not scripted when he came out and spoke. At least when we are on camera and we know television and all of that, we know what is scripted, what he's reading of a prompter and what has come from his heart. And he was sad about what happened. Nobody would want it. The other thing is that he automatically openly come out and said that I'll take care of the victims' families, their education, their well-being. It'll all be done by us. But Professor Gurmurthy had an interesting take when I'd spoken with him, and please weigh in on that, Rahul, and your assessment, where he said, Anand, I have stood 8 hours when Captain Vijay Kant happened, and from my village to the city, it took that much time for me to get that. That was a crowd that Vijay Kant got, and he ended up with 8% votes. So how much of an impact is Vijay going to have? And the other thing is they are not organized. It's a frenzy, a mob that is coming. They are not organized as a political party. They don't have cadre, they don't have district secretaries and all that. Although TVK claims that they do. So your thoughts there?
So there are 2 or 3 things. The stars that burst upon the scene in the past came up against some very, very popular leaders, helming both the AIDMK and the DMK. When you had Jayalalitha, before that, the great MGR. So these are people who, in a political milieu where people were still looking for the legacies of the Kamrajes of the world, these people fill that void. So here Vijay is looking very closely at the situation, and what do you have? You actually have Stalin, who even in his own father's time was not seen as somebody who could take the party along. That's why the reins were only given to him much later in life, right? You have the Marans on the other side. You know the Fiziers in that family. So I think fundamentally the opening for Vijay is more propitious than it has been for any other star in the past. Thirdly, he's trying to do what a Kejriwal did up in the north, which is basically steer his ship between 2 massive blocks. One is a fading block. The AIDMK is not the AIDMK of old, as I was saying to you.
Yeah.
So that is already looking a bit rickety. The BJP is sort of around trying to hold it together, is the unction or the glue or what you want to call it. The DMK is looking a little discredited, in power for about a good 5 years, haven't really distinguished itself in any which way. So there is actually room for Vijay. The tragedy is whether the people are ready for him and his politics. Now,
What is his politics?
So his politics seems, at least as I'm concerned, is to chart a new way. He's not breaking from the Dravidian mold.
Yeah.
Right? He's not breaking from the Dravidian mold. He wants to acquire the Dravidian legacy and move it forward. And he's counting on his own appeal among certain demographies. And I don't want to spell it out because then it gets too divisive, but you know what I'm saying. So he thinks that he can carry a firm minority vote. He can carry the Dravidian vote, which is looking for leadership right now on both flanks, not getting it, and hopefully run away with the spoils. I don't share and it's very sad, it's very unfortunate. A lot of people sort of pessimistically suggesting that this particular incident is going to have an impact on his immediate political future. I don't think that's true.
Yeah, they said that this campaign is over. He's finished politically.
No.
That's no way. And I don't think this stampede is also going to rub off on him in too negative a way. Yeah, people have got a bit of a, reality check, but I don't think there's that kind of anger. Now, why am I saying that? Just look around you a little bit. It's so unfortunate that these stampedes keep happening all over the country. And a large number of political actors have been hauled over the coals for mismanagement. In Vijay's case, no one is hauling him over the coals. You have the DMK making some little roundabout noises. You have the AIDMK, even the BJP, Annamalai and everybody. If you look at their statements, they're giving enough leeway to Vijay.
No, because they have borne the brunt of it.
The question is, why? Anand, because there is actually something they're seeing on the ground for this man. And they don't want to be on the wrong side. So maybe if in a sort of khichdi or in a fractured mandate situation, if it comes to throwing in your lot with Vijay and making him the chief minister and being in power, why not? So I just feel that we are missing something in the story, in the Vijay story.
The other thing is that all these leaders have faced this apathy from the administration where they try to squeeze you out. They try to create trouble from you. And is that sentiment a genuine sentiment from the people who believe that the administration should have ensured that there is public safety? Because at the end of the day, when you give permission for rallies, police bandobast is the administration's job. To allocate the right ground is the administration's job. And if they are trying to throttle you, and Annamalai has faced the same throttle, being throttled. When Kamal Hassan was part of MNM, he's also before he moved to DMK. He also faced the same thing. Rajni Makkar Mantram also faced the same problem. So is it something which on ground people are feeling that, okay, this is the case? The other thing is, if his narrative is going to be Dravidian politics, what's different in Tamil Nadu there? Is there no space for an alternative narrative at all in Tamil Nadu?
I want to divide that. It's a great question. I want to divide that into two parts. Dravidianism in Tamil Nadu has become the front and center political ideology in that state. There's no replacing that. It's a bit like, can a politician in India, anyone, including those on the right, those on the left, wherever, can a politician in India today come out and say, I'm going to dismantle India's welfare state? There are going to be no subsidies, there are going to be no, programs for the
quotas.
Poor. Yeah, quotas. No politician, whether you're on the right, left, center, extreme right, extreme left, no one can say that I'm going to dismantle the welfare state. Today, Dravidianism is the fulcrum of that state, and no politician who wants to make a mark in that state can afford to go against it, because a large majority of the people are either beneficiaries or the system has become that. So, see, but having said that, is there a space within that overarching larger Dravidianism picture for an alternative to this DMK, ADMK thing that's been going on since 1972? From the 1970s. The last 50 years, there is an alternative. The Congress tried to tap into it at one point in the 80s and 90s, they failed. The BJP tried to tap into that in the 2000s, again they failed. All these actors that you mentioned, Rajni, Kamal, Vijay got 8% vote in 2006. It was a different milieu in terms of, I genuinely believe twofold. One, there is a space for Vijay. There is definitely a space. People are tired of this binary that's happened between DMK
and those
and
leaders
ADMK.
they don't command that aura.
And there is genuine anti-incumbency against the Stalin government. Two, what Vijay has smartly done up until the Karur incident is, see, Stalin had this sort of I'm above the fray kind of a stature about him. I don't want to get into the mud and wrestle with the pig. So he left it to his lieutenants. Sometimes the attacks were done by Nehru. Sometimes the attacks were done K.N. Nehru, not Jawaharlal Nehru. Sometimes the attacks were done by Ponmudi, Senthil Balaji. He had his lieutenants to carry that out.
They also have a Rajiv Gandhi.
And the only guy he would respond to, personally was EPS, because EPS has been chief minister before, he's the leader of the opposition. He's never got into this whole, wrestling with the pigs situation. Vijay was the first guy to sort of knock him off that perch. And he did it very, very smartly. He didn't do it by, directly attacking and, going ballistic against the chief minister. He used a bit of humor, right? There's a phrase in Tamil, it's called nakkal pandrathu, which means you're sarcastically sort of attacking someone, but at the same time, because it's laced with humor, people are like, okay, and it reaches, right? So that whole my dear uncle thing, no one in the state's politics had referred to Stalin as an uncle. So you're creating this image of a guy who's there. I mean, he's an old chap. He's like this, what's the Mahabharata reference?
Bhishma
Pitama. He's blind to the travails of the ordinary people, the pain that ordinary people are going through. But I am one of you. I am representing you. I am representing your pain, right?
Yeah.
So it's time to move the Bhishma Pitama out. And you have to be respectful at the same time. So when you say, my dear uncle, he's not being disrespectful. But he's being very sarcastic. He's being very nakkal.
Yeah. So in the sense कि वो कहते हैं ना कि जानबूझ के छेड़ना उंगली करना.
Yeah.
So this
मीठी छुरी.
This मीठी छुरी and उंगली. But the point is, and whoever advised him to do that, they suddenly were able to bracket Stalin with his crisp white collar and colored hair and looking still young and dashing. That okay, he's past the prime.
Exactly.
He's no longer the prime, this one. I am the alpha. I am the so this is in the mind. That's what Vijay was trying to create. But amidst all this, I'm just saying, there was also let's quickly just segue and see where the NDA has it played its all cards wrong, especially the central leadership and the BJP. Have they got it wrong by trying to back EPS, shunt Annamalai?
I completely
And you know,
think-
and there was a momentum they got out of Lok Sabha, which they could have brought in here and perhaps push for an alternative.
Whatever
maybe
it
till
is,
2031.
Anand, the fact is that under Annamalai, you at least had double-digit growth, right, for the BJP. I think sometimes you have to stay the long course. You have to renounce power for a little while. You have to sort of grasp the nettle. And it's going to be a road if you want to make and you want to build another constituency for yourself that takes on Dravidianism. You would have to do the hard yards. There are no shortcuts to that. Now you've gone in with EPS and OPS. You're seeing the crazy, everyday attempts at trying to reconcile these two warring warlords.
No, then there is
And
there
then
is the lady.
Then there is Shashikala. then there is-
and then
it's
the
just-
Dinakaran.
it's-
And EPS will not allow them inside because he knows that the moment he lets them back in, he is going to be pushed out.
Absolutely.
You
So
know,
there is a complete. I don't think they even have their house in order, let alone try and take on the other two, which is Vijay.
Yeah, I
and-
was just thinking, imagine if there was a situation where there was a Vijay who corners the entire Dravidian narrative, and then there's an alternative with Annamalai. The whole fight would have become about these two people, and then in Tamil Nadu they would have taken sides. Maybe there would have been a rout in 2026. For the BJP, possible. Okay, maybe it would not have happened. If maybe 15-18%
I
of vote
want
share
to say one thing.
is a big.
Anand.
I'm just saying, but the whole discourse in Tamil Nadu could have gotten a shakeout that you're evolving out of this entire
But,
Dravidian
going by
narrative
just
and an alternative narrative.
crowd interest. Even Annamalai evoked a lot of crowd interest.
Yeah, of course.
In fact, when the Prime Minister went to Tamil Nadu just before the elections, the 2024 elections, we saw massive turnout.
See, massive
Because of-
turnout.
because-
People came.
People came.
It was a world record that was attempted in terms of gathering.
When you have seeded the ground with a particular thought process, suddenly to now walk back from those notional.
It's because Andamalai lost in Kovai.
I think that played a big role.
Yeah, and that also happened because there were certain efforts that were made ensuring
That's right.
that the BJP doesn't cede itself. In Kovai, had BJP ceded, then he's a counter in the same belt where EPS is cast.
There was
competition
a-
also come.
Yeah.
So I'm just saying, in real politics, if you want to really do a shakeout, somebody will have to take a few hits on them, but they would have to stand up to say, okay, these are the new hero and villain in the group, or the two heroes who are going to clash. Redefining.
It goes back to, I think, in one of the previous episodes, I think, was it Dr. Ranganathan or somebody said, ultimately, BJP wants to win elections.
Yeah.
They're not going to give up on an election just because, one person has
Winnability matters a lot.
created a new way or whatever.
In a
but
corporate culture.
I do want to make
But
a
in Tamil
prediction.
Nadu, what is the BJP and what is the NDA now?
No.
They're nothing. No.
I do want to make a prediction though. I think 2026, I'm going to be careful when I say this, but I think, look, DMK is still primarily the party to beat.
Yeah.
No
They will
doubt
be.
about it.
Yeah.
They are the party to beat. But I have a feeling Vijay will end up being number 2. I think he will be the second largest party in the assembly.
Yeah, but for that-
and 2031, which is the next election after this, the future of Tamil Nadu's politics will be between Udayanidhi, who is clearly the heir apparent in the DMK. He is the chosen leader. It'll be Udayanidhi, Vijay, and Annamalai. I think it's going to be
You feel it will be a
triangle.
triumvirate, but for that triumvirate to happen, the BJP has to invest in itself, its own cadre
I
and
think
its
that's
party.
the difference.
So,
You see-
that confidence has not come from the central leadership.
In
I
the
don't know
BJP,
why,
you can't-
what they're but if you are going to hold on to these caste considerations and rooted party in ADMK, there are many in ADMK who had they felt that the BJP is gaining ground and is showing some spine, they would have moved over, because there is a Hindutva nationalistic group even within the ADMK, which an MGR was able to nurture, Jayalalitha was able to tap in. That is not finding any space to talk.
Caste is something that you can't.
No,
forgo.
and within these castes also considerations, there are thought processes. Who would say, okay, do we want to be more nationalist or do we want to be soft separatist, and keep the national parties out? See, the whole
Sub-nationalist, you mean?
the whole politics of Tamil Nadu, Rahul, has been to keep the national parties out.
Yeah, sub-nationalist.
Let's just keep it it within ourselves.
Hang on.
I don't
I
use
can
the word
also flip that
separatist.
narrative, right? Obviously, the national parties have done a hash job
Yeah.
of trying
They
to
have,
enter that
absolutely.
state. What have they done, Congress and BJP?
No, absolutely.
Surely.
Absolutely, they've done a hash job.
Yeah.
And now, when there was a chance for you to do it,
They've made it even more.
yeah, they've just
even more
backtracked.
bad
You know,
job.
you've moved halfway and then you backtracked because you thought, oh, you can't take a few punches on ground. I don't know what the real politic on ground. You agree with him? Disagree with him? That by 31 it would differ.
Then Annamalai you can't say for sure, because see, one is a dynastic sort of continuity.
Yeah.
You could assume that Stalin will be around willy-nilly. One guy owns his own party, own outfit, so he has the wherewithal to stay. In Annamalai's case, look, the BJP is a very, very competitive, internally competitive organization. It's very difficult to say who's going to be on top. I mean, can we even, right now, predict who the president of the BJP is going to be? We don't. So,
No, but that's within the party.
No, but that's what I'm
within the
saying.
party.
So you can't tell. So can Annamalai take for granted? He can break away, form his own outfit, yes.
Yeah, it doesn't work.
And then,
No, I
but
don't see
if
that
he's,
It doesn't
I don't
work.
think
See,
that if you are going to sort of suggest that after, in the next 10 years or whatever, I see a future for Annamalai within the BJP, I don't know. I won't be able
See,
to.
there is a course correction that is required. What works in Tamil Nadu is not just the ability to pull crowds, but to also have an organization. The only two entities who have a solid organization on ground are the DMK and the ADMK. Now, the ADMK is a little broken around, but EPS is still holding on because he has got organizational heft internally, he's been able to hold it. The only other entity which can come in and create an organization is the BJP along with the RSS. That's the only way. Now, for that to happen, they have to clean up internally and have a solid organization behind one leader back. Now, point is, during Lok Sabha, I'm witness. The local MLA of the BJP had not a single flag in that constituency throughout the entire election. Now, this shows the kind of rifts and the kind of issues which are there. Now, if you don't sort that out, you will not have a leader, and you will always be not even Stepney, but perhaps not even the spare wheel, the spare of the spare wheel, or a nut in the spare wheel. That's what you would be as a party. Is that what you want to do? You got to see. For Vijay, somewhere I feel they have to get their organization right. Unless they get their organizational bandwidth right and they have district secretaries, seeded around people across the board, he will not be able to stand. And he's a film star. Somebody is funding him, right? He's generating funds from somewhere. It's not an organized. Those people will also see whether there is traction. Otherwise, eventually he may end up like a Kamal Hassan and merge into one of the existing folds. That's where
It depends on the result of next year's election. It depends on how well he does.
Yeah.
Like I said, if he ends up as second largest party, principal opposition, then in 5 years he'll become chief minister.
Yeah, politics is funny, but people sometimes they have clarity. Now, what are the people of Tamil Nadu thinking? We'll come to know in the coming days. We wanted to talk Putin and Trump also, viewers, but we've just focused on Tamil Nadu and we've run out of time. So that'll be on our next edition of
We mentioned
Day 3.
Stalin. If that counts for Russian influence.
Thank you.
Stalin
Thank you.
wali azadi.
Thank you very much. Thank you.